ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्तिः शान्तिः शान्तिः। समस्तजनकल्याणे निरतं करुणामयं नमामि चिन्मयं देवं सद्गुरुं ब्रह्मविद्वरम्।
When your week is
like Arjuna, when he got overwhelmed by anxiety, he decided to surrender at the feet of Lord Krishna and accept whatever Lord Krishna was to instruct him and tell him. But in situations in my life where I get overwhelmed, I don't surrender at anyone, but rather try to manage them myself. And in such situations, I feel that I'm very forced to have to set out a set routine, which is like to continuously study or work, which I've set for myself. So what do I do to manage these situations, and how, and what am I doing? What am I doing? Is it right, Swami?
Sometimes when we ask a question, it is also that we are presently also in that state of mind of being overwhelmed and you know under the influence of the situation. So, on behalf of Satvik, who is a chick from Singapore, I welcome everyone to this Gita Live session this evening. It's 7:30 p.m. Singapore time. And welcome to all the online viewers of this webinar. And Satvik was not just asking the question, but he was actually trying to demonstrate that when one becomes very overwhelmed with the situation, how to deal with it, because surrendering to uh, someone higher or remembering the, to hand over the reins to someone, sometimes it's not something that comes very natural to us. So the question is to take charge of something and doing things myself. Is that the right thing to do? On one hand, as an answer to this question, I would say feeling responsible for something that we are doing is very good. We own up the responsibility and try to deliver whatever that we can in that situation, even if we are very, very overwhelmed and kind of intimidated. The situation is a good thing. However, we also need to understand that everything we will not be able to ourselves handle. There are so many factors that are involved, and when we reach a point where we find that it's somehow I'm not able to handle this, then it's a natural state of the mind that I look for some altar where I want to surrender myself. I want to take support of someone who is a well-wisher, someone who is capable of guiding me, helping me, holding my hands through difficult times. And for Arjuna, the good thing was that he was very fortunate that he had made the right choice earlier. He had chosen to be with Krishna in the presence of Krishna, and being in that presence and having that confidence in and faith in the greater or higher power in the divinity always empowers us, keeps us over the situation, and we are able to face it better. So, yes, we must take responsibility, but also have that window where the divine also peeps in to help us, and always have one hand holding on to the feet of the Lord. That always helps. Something greater, something mightier than yourself.
Thank you, Swamiji. That was really helpful. Next, I have a question. Swamiji, Lord Krishna says that the wise lament neither on that which happened or which will happen, and Lord Krishna further talks about how there are fleeting perceptions which go like the seasons, but the wise learn to tolerate it. So, in my perspective, when I have an emotion, it feels natural to attach to it and connect with it and act based on it. So, is this the right way to handle it, Swamiji? And how do I understand the perspective of Lord Krishna?
This question is also, very common, that not to get affected by any situation and let it pass, and don't get attached to it, don't get involved in it too much. On one side we do hear that, and on the other side also we say that be in the present and feel deeply about whatever situation you are in, and try to get involved completely in the moment. So these seem to be mutually opposed views. So what we need to uh, perhaps understand is there has to be a little of both, in the sense I need to ensure that whatever moment I am in, I have to be fully involved in that moment. I have to feel everything. At the same time, I also need to make sure that my mind does not hold on to it and remain attached to it. Because if I am going to be attached to something, then that is going to create a lot of sorrow, because it is going to pass. So whatever passes, I need to let it pass. However, till the time I am in that situation and that emotion and that environment is there, I need to be totally aware of that present situation. However, not consider it to be a permanent situation or emotion. And when it has to pass by, I let it go and I do not hold on to it. It is holding on to it that gives me greater sorrow. Otherwise, if it is experiencing that moment completely, that actually is liberating. So I don't think you need to worry about that.
Thank you, Swamiji. So, one of the most common verses that I've heard many times from Bhagavad Gita chapter 2 since young is to treat alike happiness and sorrow, loss and victory, and success and failure, to work towards the sake of the duty. But in my life, I find that many times I work towards success and happiness instead. So I want to shift and elevate my perspective, Swamiji. Please tell me how I should focus more on working towards duty rather than success or happiness.
We we often read the Gita and find that we should not just work for success, and we should have consider success and failure as the same or equal. That is actually not the case, because all of us want to succeed and we all work towards success only. There's nothing wrong. However, when we define success and we say that this is the only way that the outcome of my action should be there, and whatever I want, I should get it in this particular way, and I become very insistent and very narrowly expecting those things, that is when the problem comes. Otherwise, all of us must work for success, even whether it was Arjuna or us, all of us, whatever we undertake, we want to be successful. Even this particular experience that we have, all of us are watching this video right now, webinar right now. So this also, we want something to succeed. And if we have, like we have switched on our phone, then we want to see the video. That success we want. It is not that, okay, even if I am not able to see the video, never mind, at least I switched on my phone, at least so much I did. No, that is not the purpose. The purpose is I should be able to succeed in my endeavors. But at the same time, I should ensure that I do not get affected by the outcome. I work for success, but do not get deterred by failure. So how can I do that? When I am performing any action, all those actions, of course, I am aligned to success. I want to gain success, no doubt about that. But at the same time, I also want to ensure that I don't get disappointed when it does not come in the same form as we have expected it to come. So therefore, our attempt has to be do the best, work for the best, as Puja Gurudev says, and when the outcome is there, whatever comes, I am happy with it, and I put in greater effort so that I can keep succeeding going forward also. So it is. So what is my duty? My duty is to put in my best effort, because that is what I have in my hands, and the outcome anyway I do not have in my hands. So whatever outcome is there, I am able to gracefully accept. I'm able to digest it, and I'm able to without getting bogged down by that situation. I am able to work towards the goal again, and get up and start walking in that direction, so that we can achieve success more and more, and success should become a habit for us.
Thank you, Swamiji. Lord Krishna also mentions that people lose the higher principle and they get bewildered by glorified parts of the Vedas. So there are parts of the Vedas about trying to attain a higher position in the next birth, for sensual enjoyment, for having more childbirth, and other for better opulence and as such. And we all do indulge as youth in parts of these in our life as we go along. So how do we understand the right way to incorporate this, and when these become part of our duty, Swamiji?
This portion of the second chapter of Gita that you're referring to, Bhagavan Shri Krishna very beautifully puts it that there are so many people who are involved so much with the mundane things and the worldly achievements, that they don't feel the need of anything higher. So they consider even the Veda to be advising only that which is, which is commonly called as the so-called success, that I should get a lot of wealth, I should have a very good family, and I should lead a life of pleasures and all these things. So this is what we consider as the highest gain at one level of maturity. But it is when we start maturing more, we start thinking deeper, we start being more aware of our day-to-day activities, that is when we tend to find that there are lots of flaws. All these kinds of great promises and great things that the Vedas and the knowers of Vedas, of this portion alone, that you do this kind of action and you will get this kind of result. So you do this. It is like you invest in this place and then you will get such returns, or you go to this place, you will be able to enjoy so much. All these kinds of promises that we bank on for our happiness. Sometimes when we start thinking, when we start examining our life, at some point, all of us do reach a state of saturation, and we start questioning its validity. And sometimes we get disgusted by its hollowness also. And we say that we have to make life more meaningful. And when that more meaningful life, that need for living that kind of a life dawns upon us, we are able to definitely ensure that we, move on from this level of so-called achievement to something more significant. And how do we ensure that we don't get lost in this kind of worldly success or endeavors? The point is, that is why this concept of duty is something very beautifully brought out in the Bhagavad Gita, especially in the second chapter also. That when we have this sense of duty, there is always we are conscious about what is to be done, and what I want to do. What is to be done, there is no choice. What I want to do can be different. So if what I want to do is what is to be done, which means my desires align with my duties, that is the best situation that I can have. And how can these desires align with my duties? When I understand the benefit of duty. Because desires can lead me or simultaneously pull me towards different directions. However, duty will keep me focused in one place. And when this kind of focus is there in my being, then what happens is I am able to uh, um, live a life which is more complete, more focused in the present moment. I'm able to enjoy every moment, every experience of life. And this is what we need to learn. And therefore, once we appreciate this benefit of following our duties, then automatically our mind will tend to move towards it, keep at it, and not wander around in these different kinds of flowery promises that we find in certain parts of the scriptures. They are also important, they are part of the scriptures because that also is catering to a class of people at that level of maturity. But once we elevate ourselves and come to that level of duty, we understand that there is more significant things that I seek, and when I walk the path of seeking those significant things, my life becomes a blessing. It turns from success towards significance.
That was beautifully put, Swamiji. So next, I would like to ask about when you are overwhelmed with anxiety again. So in the case of Arjuna, when he faced a situation where he was fully overwhelmed, he surrendered at the feet of Lord Krishna. But in situations where we get extremely overwhelmed, we tend to try to exit from the situation. So Swamiji, when is it right to exit from an extremely difficult and overwhelming situation?
If I have to answer that in one word, the point is never. Because exiting from a situation is never a choice. Whether it is easy or difficult doesn't matter. But if there is a situation, as Puja Gurudev puts it, the best way out of a situation is going through it only. So there is no circumvention that is going to help, because wherever we may try to escape, it is going to follow us. Puja Gurudev very beautifully explains this when Arjuna also wants to run away from the battlefield. The first attempt was that only. And when he wanted to do that, Shri Krishna refused. He said that no, you're not supposed to, you're not going to do that, and I'm not going to allow you to escape from the situation. And why? So Gurudev puts it very beautifully that I don't want you to harm the environment, because you will go to the forest now because you are seeing this situation to be very difficult and you don't want to face it. But once you go to the forest, all those thoughts of taking revenge and all this enmity and injustice and all these things is going to come to your mind. And when it comes to your mind, you won't be in the battlefield, but you will draw out your sword and you will start chopping off trees. So then Gurudev very beautifully in his humorous way said that Bhagavan wanted to save the forests also. That's why he did not let Arjuna flee. And same way for us also, there is never a choice of escaping, because even if we think we have escaped, it comes to us in other forms also. So therefore, we have to go through it. We have to learn our lessons. We have to deal with the situations that are there without giving ourselves an option. And uh, as far as surrendering to Krishna is concerned, the most important part is Arjuna had a Krishna. The question is, do we have a Krishna? And how can we ensure we have a Krishna? And Krishna for us is not going to come with a flute in one hand and a chakra in another hand, or he's not going to come as a charioteer in our lives. He's not going to be coming in the, with a dark complexion and wearing a yellow dhoti and with all the crown and everything. He's not going to be in that particular form. He's going to take a form which is suitable for us. He's going to speak a language that we will be able to understand, and he's going to help us in the way we are ready to receive help. But where do we find such a Krishna? So the best way to find a Krishna is we have to understand Krishna had two qualities, and people with these two qualities are there around us. What are these two qualities? One, someone who is a well-wisher, and the other who is capable, who is knowledgeable. So one who can help us and also would like to help us, who is a capable person and a well-wisher. This is Krishna. And such people, if we can have one such person in our life, who can always be with us, who can hold our hands, who can walk us through difficult situations and help us come out of those difficulties and not let us escape, not let us circumvent. If we have such a person in our life, we have our Krishna. We have to pray to him. We have to ensure that he's there with us. One such person. That's all. It could be in the form of a sibling. It could be in the form of a friend. It could be in the form of an elder. It could be anyone. Any form. Doesn't matter. But someone whom we can hold on to, someone whom we know that that person is not judging me, someone in front of whom I can be myself without feeling ashamed, without feeling afraid. If I can find one such person in my life, I have followed in the footsteps of Arjuna, and I will be able to surrender to that Krishna, and I will be able to ensure that I go through that difficult situation and learn my lessons, get enriched, and come out of it forever, and do not have to repeat such situations in my life ever.
Thank you, Swamiji. So Lord Krishna also mentions to Arjuna that there is merit in fighting for a right cause. And even in other, like Greek mythology as well, it mentions that warriors who fight for the right cause will end up in heaven. So in the case for me, I don't always see material reward, or it is not visible. That material reward may not be incentivizing for that right action. So Swamiji, how do I understand what is it that this reward is for the right action?
Right action, if I'm doing it for the reward, then actually I'm working for the reward and I'm not choosing the right action. I have to choose any course of action in life when I am able to, appreciate the goodness of that path, the merit in that course of action itself, not the reward that comes in the future. There are lots of merits. There are lots of punya that is talked about. That if you fight for the right cause, then you will attain swarga. Even if you die in the battlefield, you will attain that viragati, vira swarga. So the heavens for the warriors, etc. So all these different kinds of promises are given, not to not to say that this is all you will get, but the fulfillment comes in the very act that I am choosing to do. Whatever I am trying to do, it is the fulfillment in itself. That yes, I have to stand up for something that is right, and that itself is fulfilling. That itself feels, that yeah, I have achieved what I needed to achieve. So if I can recognize the goodness in the right path, recognize the not the futuristic thing, but what I will feel in the very present, in while going through that course of action. If I can recognize that, if I can spend some time in knowing that, that itself will help me. How do I know that? How do I recognize that? One is, of course, a trial and error method is possible. When I try out something and I choose the right path, and I myself have experienced it, that it is something that really is a lot of burden is offloaded, and I'm doing the right thing, and I have a clear conscience. I'm able to sleep at night. So that experience itself will help me to choose that right course of action. Sometimes even being in the company of people who are able to guide us, who are able to show us that goodness of that right path, that also helps us to see people following the right path and able to you know to be able to uh, feel that strength in them, that happiness in them, and then taking inspiration from them. Reading the life stories of great people who have chosen to be on the right path and have succeeded in that. Being, in the thoughts of such great people, all these different activities do help us in seeing that uh, goodness in that right path, and then choosing that consciously as as the only path that I want to follow. So the discussion that we had on duty a little earlier, that dutifulness, that when I am able to stick to duty and understand that this life is actually a good life, and I don't want to do anything incorrect, because that will create a lot of load on me, maybe the burden of guilt, the burden of untruthful behavior, lots of things that I keep carrying, all that I'll be able to shed, and I'll be able to live a life of more energy and cheer. So to recognize that aspect is more important than to see something that is futuristic in nature, because future we do not know in what form that is going to come. But at least while going through it itself, if we appreciate the goodness of the right, then it will help me to choose and be in that.
Thank, thank you, Swamiji. I understand what the merit actually means now. So we know that Arjuna, who was actually one of the strongest warrior, he was one of the most well-prepared warriors. Yet when he came to the battlefield, no one anticipated that he would break down right then and there. And even in my life, I encounter some situations where, without having any anticipation of it, I end up breaking down. So how do I better anticipate and prepare for such situations of extreme breakdowns, Swamiji?
If you anticipate breakdown, prevent it. But nobody anticipates such breakdowns. And yes, but we do face such situations where we end up in such a situation, and there's no warning, there's no indicator, or sometimes we don't pay attention to such indicators, and we find ourselves in that situation, which is sometimes we don't know what to do, and sometimes we end up breaking down. As I said earlier, sometimes breaking down is also not bad. In the situation for Arjuna, he broke down, but the good thing is he broke down in front of Krishna. So breaking down in the presence of a capable, well-wishing friend is a good thing. So it's not always bad. Sometimes such breaking down also helps us to get rid of all that baggage that I am carrying. Sometimes I carry this, doership, so much of that. I am doing it. I have to do this, and I have to prove myself, and all these kinds of things. I keep, carrying this unnecessary baggage. So I need to, shed all that baggage. And sometimes breaking down helps me in that also. So, as far as reaching that situation and recovering, one thing is, of course, if we have done our prior work of choosing that Krishna and keeping that Krishna with us all the time, does help. And the other thing is, if I find myself in that breakdown situation, I need to always remember these words, which Gurudev has also so many times, stressed upon this, which is, even this will pass away. So there is a situation, yes, I am in a bad state. Yes, I find myself broken down. Yes, but this is also going to pass. And when this is going to pass, I will be back on track. And I have to put in effort, which Gurudev very beautifully puts it, that the glory is not in never falling, but it lies really in getting up and walking again each time you fall. So fall should never be the end. Breakdown should never be the end. It should be a new beginning for us, that we go back to life with greater vigor and enthusiasm so that we are able to succeed in whatever we take up. As far as anticipation of such a situation is concerned, I think a little bit of a window has to be kept open for any such surprise that comes to life. Because life is full of surprises. Whatever, how much ever we may plan, there will always be something or the other that will happen which we have not planned. Something that will be completely a surprise for us. When such a surprise we face, we should keep that window open, that okay, some surprises I will always get. So when I have prepared well and planned well for my any activity, then I am well equipped to go through that situation. And if there is any surprise, I am not burdened by the regular, I am not burdened by the routine. So because I am already prepared with the routine. So therefore, when such surprises come, I am in a better position to face them. I am in a better position to deal with them. So to expect such a thing happening outside is a wise thing, but we don't need to expect ourselves to break down. We can prepare ourselves that such things may happen, but I will be strong. Arjuna prepared for the war 12 plus 1, 13 long years he prepared. And after that, when he was on that battlefield, and he was not prepared because he was forced to prepare, but he was inspired to prepare. He knew this day is going to come. He was convinced about having this war. And when he came to the battlefield with such a mental and physical preparation, he broke down. Why? Because he did not anticipate that the war will be of such a scale. He did not anticipate that his own worshipful grandfather and teacher will be standing in the army lines opposing him. So he never thought of all these things. So that is why we have to keep this window always open, that the most unexpected thing can happen. So in Hindi we say ऐसा भी होता है. So such kind of things are also possible. Anything is possible. So if we open that window for that possibility, then what happens is anything comes to life. I say, huh, I knew something would like this would happen. So it's okay. With a smile, I try to deal with it with the best of my ability, wisdom that is available, and of course with the help of Krishna of my life.
Thank you, Swamiji. You mentioned about the doership that sheds us the baggage as well. And so my next question is about that. Lord Krishna mentions you only have the right to act, but not to the result. But I find in many situations, I put in so much effort into a certain action and I'm completely involved in it. And I feel that I deserve that result. So how do I properly understand what Lord Krishna is saying and elevate my perception, Swamiji?
When Sri Krishna says, now there is a very famous verse in the second chapter of the Gita. All of us must be knowing at least the first part of it. Karmanyevadhikaraste ma phaleshu kadachana. And the second line says, ma karma phalahetu bhuvu ma te sambostu akarmani. The idea that Sri Krishna is presenting here by saying that your right is only to act and you're not entitled to the result does not mean that the result will not be achieved by you, or you will not get the result of the actions. In fact, even if we do not want the result of an action, we will get it. We will be forced to receive it. So it is not that I am not entitled to the result. It is not that we should not think about the result at all, because as we discussed earlier, we all work for being successful. We want to succeed in any undertaking. So we have to think about, we have to consider the result. But whenever we take up any action, there are different phases of action. We have to understand that, and that is what Sri Krishna means in the Gita also, especially through this verse also. First of all, there is no place for inaction. Mate sangostu akarmani. Don't get attached to not working, because that's not an option. Take that out, because sometimes what happens is we look for an escape by saying that I will not do only, and thinking that this will help me evade that situation, or it will not come in front of me. But that is not true. There is no escape. There is no getting away. So if there is a situation, I have to go through it, and I have to work towards it. So there's no inaction, no inaction. Let that not become your attachment. So mate samgostu akarmani, that's one thing. Second thing is also that we need to understand that when we work only for the fulfillment of our desires, ma karma phala hetu, if we are working only for the fulfillment of certain desires, there is a possibility that the desire may not be fulfilled in the exact manner that I want it to be fulfilled. So sometimes, just for an example, I want a cup of coffee, and there are so many conditions attached to that one cup of coffee. I want a particular temperature, I want particular strength, I want it to be presented in a particular way, I want this particular brand, so many such kind of things. I have to be in a good frame of mind, it should be presented well, I should be able to accept it well, I should be in that mood of having that cup of coffee. So many things are involved, and all these things getting fulfilled, then I will get little bit of happiness. So if I am only focused on fulfilling my desires, and that too I am very insistent on the fulfillment of desires, that is going to create only sorrow in my life. So ma karma phala hetu. So then in the first line, what Bhagavan says, that it is not for the result that you are acting. It is not, you are not entitled to result. That does not mean that you will not get the result. Because sometimes we all perform certain action, some wrong actions and all we perform, and then say that I don't want the result of it. But even if we don't want, we get the result. So when we don't get, when we don't want, even then we get the result, then obviously, the desired result also, if it is a, something good, something bad, everything we will get. So then what does it mean by ma phaleshu kadachana? So what it means is, it cannot, this result cannot be the only aim of performing actions. So if result is not the aim of performing actions, then what is? It is duty. That if it is supposed to be done, I do it. That's all. So my inspiration is not the result. So it is not that I'm not entitled. And whatever action I do, I will get its result. So if I have worked, let us say I am in a job and I work for 1 month, at the end of the month, I will get the salary. So the verse does not say that you will not get the salary. You will get it. But to insist that this particular way, this time, this way only I want it, that insistence, Bhagavan is saying, you leave it. You don't start imagining, you don't start thinking about it. You just let it. So what are the stages of action? First, decide that I am not going to get attached to inaction. I will keep acting, number one. Number two, we will also, we have to be very clear that all this, action that I perform, it has to be towards a goal. So setting my goal is the next very important phase. Once I have set my goal, I plan out my roadmap In that planning, I have to think and consider certain outcomes, that this I have to do and this may be the outcome. It is like planning for a chess match. When I make a move, I plan a move, I know that these could be the moves from my opponent. So I do consider that outcome, but I don't only bank on a particular type of outcome. So these are all possibilities, and something more also which I have not thought of, but that could be an outcome. The outcome will come. And then once I start my action, I do not bother about the outcome. I keep playing, I keep taking each step. As Puja Gurudev has said, and in the movie On a Quest, all of us must have watched, which is on YouTube also now in various languages. There is this very powerful dialogue which Puja Gurudev says initially, and later on Puja Guruji also says it towards the end of the movie, and that is, start walking, the path will get clear. So I need to start walking, need not worry about too much about the result. It will be in planning stage, we need to think about it. But then when I'm executing something, that time I just need to keep moving and I will reach there. I think we have also reached the time where we were, supposed to open this for the audience questions. So if you all who are watching online have any questions, you can ask, and then we will see, we'll explore. And if there are no questions, then our Satvik is here. He is a question bank. So he has unending questions, and second chapter being a very long chapter, and he has also kind of studied the chapter. So therefore, he has a few questions. So we can take one more up till the questions are posted. Yes, Satvik, you have some more to ask?
Swamiji, I can go on asking.
Yeah, please.
My next question, Swamiji, is actually on the same matter of fruit of action. And this is something not only I have faced, but many of my friends have also shared this similar experience. So what happens in some phases in, especially living in Singapore, we find that what fruit of action, there is no fruit of any action we do. And we find there's no happiness from doing anything. And in such situations, especially in Singapore, we tend to be indoors a lot of times. And when we go out, we end up going to the same few places. So we feel that no matter what we do, we are not escaping out of a so-called rut. But understanding and being aware that this is just a delusion, how do we see past it, Swamiji?
Actually speaking, you're talking about something connected to Singapore. I feel Singapore people live the Vedas, especially the Karmakanda portion of the Vedas, maximum. So the one which you talked about, that working for some gains in the worldly manner, I have seen this maximum here, because what happens is, we earn for some time and then we go on a vacation, then come back, earn for some time, go on a vacation. This is what is, we do some good deeds, go to the heaven, then come back, do more good deeds, go to the heaven, come back. So this is what is our journey to and fro. So this is happening. So there is no, we are not in a rut. Let us get rid of that thing, because each vacation is a different destination. So nowadays there is a lot of entertainment that is available, and lot of different ways that we go. Yes, within the city, it being a small place, and we all having gone to various places, we do find that there is a possibility of a rut. I would choose to connect this, or make this into a rut that is seen even in our sadhana, which is very similar, and would like to answer this question. Even in our sadhana, when we do a puja, for example, now the steps of puja are not going to change every day. It's going to be the same. If you're going to do a mantra japa, the mantra is not going to change, or the way we repeat is not going to change every day. It's going to be the same. So we're going to do the same things. When we read the Gita, the message of the Gita is not going to change. It is going to be the same. Any scripture we read, it is going to tell us the truth, and truth is only one. So that also is not going to change. So there is no change as such available in the world. So, but that cannot be called as rut, because what is happening through this experience also is that I am undergoing growth. I am growing. And in this growth that I go through, I find myself discovering new experiences in the same surroundings.
So if I go to the same place twice, the second time will be different if I have evolved. So to live a life that is conscious, if to live a life that is with greater awareness, and if I am able to understand, even in sadhana, when I do the puja steps may be the same, but my connect with the Lord will be different. The mantra is the same, how I chant will be the same, but then how I connect will be different, will be deeper. So if I ensure that I am growing, evolving, maturing with every day, then there is no rut, because each day it will be new, each day it will be different, each day it will be fresh. We all see this sunrise every day. Sunrise, I don't know, I doubt, but sunset maybe we must be seeing. But you said that most of us are indoors, so that also we won't see. Okay, but sometime when we see sunrises, all sunrises every day, sunrises in the east only, and it is beautiful. But never are two sunrises exactly the same. There's no rut there. Flowers, the same type of flowers, they blossom, but no two flowers are identical. So everywhere in nature we find there is some repetitiveness, but there is always freshness. And this freshness is what we need to discover within ourselves. And then that transforms our vision. And when the vision is transformed, automatically I see newness and freshness in everything. So if I am ensuring that I grow and I mature and I evolve with every passing experience, then there is no rut. Then it becomes an evolutionary spiral, and slowly I can, rocket to the high skies of my success.
Thank you, Swamiji. Now we have a question from Sarthak Yadav. It's a two-part question. First, how do you know that you are doing the right thing? And secondly, what gives you the reassurance that everything will be all right?
Good. So, how do you know you're doing the right thing?
If we are in a particular country and we want to know what is right, what is wrong, what is legal, what is illegal, how to find out? One way is we see that, okay, all others, what are others doing, and I do the same. But then that may not be an authentic source of information, because maybe others are also doing something wrong in their ignorance. So, what is the right source of information for me to understand what is right, what is the path that I need to take up? So, in the legality terms, it is the constitution of that country, and similarly in life, it is called scripture. So any such scripture like the Bhagavad Gita and many others, these are the guidebooks for our life. So if I want to know what is the right path, I have to go back to the scriptures. There are so many different scriptures which are also called as Dharma Shastras. Bhagavad Gita also teaches us. Dharma Shastra means what is the right thing to do. Ramayana teaches us what is the right thing to do. How are we supposed to lead our childhood so that we can become equipped to take right decisions in our youthhood. So every scripture of ours gives us this information, this knowledge in various ways. Some give us the knowledge in form of a story, some in form of concepts, some in form of a dialogue. So all these different scriptures we have to take recourse to, so that we are able to understand what is the right thing to do in life. And we need to do that. And once we start choosing to do the right, slowly our mind also gets tuned to what is right. And then from within itself, we have that clarity. Our conscience gets greater energy to assert that this is the right thing to do. And then the inner voice itself can guide us. Right now, the inner voice is very, very feeble because we have not been listening to it so much. But we cannot just start listening to the inner voice, because we may imagine it to be the inner voice, but it may be a game that the mind may play. So we better safer is to take recourse to the scriptures and get the right information from there. And if I cannot directly approach the scriptures, I may not know the language that is Sanskrit and the way it is presented, then there are so many people who are knowers of scriptures. We should try and approach them, get guidance from them, and that is the way to know what is a right thing to do. Second thing is how do we get the assurance that whatever what is the question?
Everything will be all
Everything will be all right. So how do we get that assurance that everything will be all right? No, we don't need to get in future. Even now, everything is all right. So whatever is the present situation, in this we are talking based on the second chapter of the Gita. But if we think about the 11th chapter, there is one very beautiful revelation that Arjuna gets, and at the end of it, Arjuna says that everything is right in its place. He uses this word, which is a very powerful word, that is sthane. Sthane means everything is fine. This is what a loose form of this only has been adopted, and we all must have watched this movie called Three Idiots in Bollywood, which says all is well, all is well. But this all is well is a very superficial concept. Sthane is a deeper concept with that faith that I have to choose the right thing to do. Things will be fine. They may appear to be, disturbing, agitating. They may appear to be challenging, but it will be fine. One thing that will help us to also reinforce that this thought is just introspect and look at life that has gone by. In our own life past, whatever few years we have lived, if we peep into our own past, we will know that things have been taken care of, things have been good. I thought that I am doomed, and then at the end of the day, I find that things are fine. Everything is fine. When we were in school, we must have, one day I did not do my homework, or one exam I did not pass, and I felt that that's the end of the life. In my college, one breakup, I felt this is the end of life. But I find that I'm fine, I'm doing fine. So when I examine my own past, I understand that everything has been good only. So that is the best assurance that so far something has been fine. Further also it will be fine, provided I make conscious decisions and stick to what is right. Then definitely everything is bound to be fine.
Thank you, Swami. That really answered the question beautifully. And right as you were talking about the inner voice, there's a question about it from Jyotsna, who is also part of Chick. She said, asking, how do we differentiate between the voice of ego and the voice of wisdom?
How do we differentiate between the voice of ego and voice of wisdom?
As the question itself shows, that there is a very thin line, and there are all chances that we may mistake them for each other. Whenever there is this voice of the ego, there is always some kind of other emotion that is always associated with it. Some kind of excitement, exhilaration, some kind of, anxiety, etc. But when it is the voice of wisdom, there will be a lot of peace. It will have that depth, that weightage. So that itself will give us the difference between the two. Secondly, it is not something that I can, try and do suddenly. All of a sudden, I say that, okay, I have to start listening to my inner voice or my conscience. That's not going to happen all of a sudden. Even the conscience has to be trained to become loud. In the beginning of this session, many people felt that the volume is so low, and all of you commented that no, it has to be louder, louder. It was trained. Slowly, it started becoming louder. And now it is loud enough. I hope all of you can hear. So this inner voice also, we have to train it to become more and more loud. And how can we train it to become more and more loud? By listening to it. If I keep listening to it, it will become louder. Now, the question remains that how do I listen to it? Because I may be just listening to the ego and thinking that it is the voice of this inner conscience. That's because, when we take any decision or, have these thoughts based on our likes and dislikes. When I say this will be so nice, I will like it. And based on the likes and dislikes, if I start taking my decisions, my voice of ego will be louder and louder. But when I start taking decisions on what is right, what is to be done, according to the scriptures, according to my well wishers' advice, when I start doing that, when I start training myself to do the right thing, what happens is my inner conscience also starts getting more and more strength. So, to be able to align myself away from my likes and dislikes to what is right, that alone will help me to hold on to the conscience, make it stronger, louder, and I will be able to listen to it. And as I said, that will be something that will be peace giving, and it will not create any agitation or excitement, whether it is happy or sad.
Thank you, Swamiji. One more question we have received. How do we manage expectations of completing education, balancing relationships and our career, all within the same age? How can we balance everything at once, especially at a prime age of youth?
Very nice question. And with this is the last question that we will be able to take.
Whoever has given the question, many people will be hopefully thinking about this. And I'm also, very happy to think about this aloud here. The stage youth itself means the one who is capable, not just physically, but all our faculties in this age are all in their prime state. They're fully strong, fully alert. And this is the stage where not just these things of career and relationships and all these things, much more can be achieved. In our ancient days, we have a lot of instances where we find that there were youngsters who achieved the greatest and highest and supreme truth. Also, they realized in their youth only. Our scriptures, our Upanishads have been for youth only. All the students, if we see, they were all predominantly, most of the Upanishads have the students as youth only. So it is possible only in the youth. We may feel that it is all scattered. Now, why do we feel they are scattered and I have to do so much? This also I have to do, that also I have to do, and I am not able to make time for everything. That's because I start fragmenting my life into these sections. So I say, this is my school friends. So with them, I will do this. Then these are my college friends. I will do this with mine. These are my family members. I will do this. So within relationships also, I have so many fragments. And these fragments, as though never meet each other. They are all watertight compartments. So then I say, I have given time to my family today, so I could not give time to my school friend. Oh, I am so sad. And then how to balance? And then this very common question of how to create this work-life balance. The point is balance. The word balance is required only when there are two. But as far as an individual is concerned, we all, when we live life, it is one life and it has to be a whole life. So we have to create that, in computers, when they go slow, it is said that we have to defragment. So all the fragment of data that is there in different places, all this has to be packed up together so that it has more free space to function better and faster. So similarly, in us also as a personality, all these different sections that we all have created, we have created all of them. We have to defragment them. We have to get them together. And how can I practically do that? For example, if I have my school friends, introduce them to your family and introduce the family to your school friends. This is a very, very gross level of example I'm giving. That when these two merge, when these two become one, I'm able to talk to one about the other. This is when I defragment my life. This is how I start creating one life out of my life. I have to pursue careers. Okay, career I have to pursue. Does that mean that I have to give up my relationships? That's not required. When I'm taking care of my relationships, I can't generate wealth. Then how will I take care of my family if I can't generate wealth? So I have to do this. I have to accept this responsibility as one whole and not as fragments. When I accept it and look at it as one whole, then I don't see myself being pulled apart. I will be pulled in one direction only. I have to take care of everything. This aspect of giving, one thing is fragmenting and then giving myself a choice that I will do this. You know, weekdays it is my work days, and then weekends is my family day. Why? So then weekdays is family I won't take care of, and weekends if there is any work I won't do that work. Sometimes even in Chinmaya mission, when we say that chicks and all they come, if they have that weekend, we will be in chick, and rest of the time we will be achik. Means we are not chicks. So how can you be? You are an individual, you are one person, and that one person has to be one whole only. So you are a chick when you go to college also, and you are a college student when you come as chicks also. So both ways. So this wholeness, once we accept and defragment our lives, we will definitely be able to lead that life. So with that, we come to an end, and I would hand over to Satvik, the moderator for today, to give his closing remarks and close this with a closing prayer.
Thank you, Swamiji. I tried to envision as much as what are the perspectives of the youth and try to bring it together in this in the questions that I asked, and I feel all of them were beautifully answered, and a lot of things were cleared up about what Lord Krishna actually meant. Thank you so much. Now we will close with the closing prayer.
Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate Om Shanti 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 Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Hari Om